Secretary Pete Hegseth speaking in the Northeast in Maine. As you can see behind him, American strength and American manufacturing. Let's listen into this here on Live Now from Fox.
Well, you guys just made my day. What a crew. How we doing today? Incredible, incredible. Well, you know, the Arsenal of Freedom tour, which we're on, it's about two things, quite simply. I'm here to thank you for what you do, the job you do, the way you do it, and I'm here to tell you to keep going. Go hard and go fast and get these capabilities to the warfighter. See, our job is to have the backs of those warriors, to ensure that they have everything they need so they're never in a fair fight. But we can't do that without you. What you're building here in Bath is essential to the arsenal of freedom. And nobody builds it better than you guys. You see, rightfully and understandably so, we talk a lot about the door kickers and the pilots dropping precision bombs. We talk a lot about intel analysts and mechanics wearing camouflage, and rightfully so. They're all incredibly important to our nation, but look at what you accomplish right here in the birthplace of American shipping. There's a sign at the front as we came through. It says, "Through these gates walk the best shipbuilders in the world." Have to get President Trump out here sometime. See, your job is to live up to that every day. It's your job to have the backs of our warfighters. See, you're designing and constructing the most advanced ships in human history, integral elements of ensuring peace through strength. You've dedicated your lives to precision and skill. You've welded the foundations, you've checked the seals and the pressure, guaranteed that the ladders and the hatches are in place and functional, and all made beautiful with a fresh set of paint. All right here in the United States of America. You see, for far too long under previous administrations, we had leaders who thought we could outsource our critical work to other countries, or that we could live in a so-called global environment where American skills and American factories and shipyards didn't matter anymore, or that a glacial pace of over-budget prime contractors was tolerated or the norm. Well, under President Donald J. Trump, those days are over. You see, we live in a realistic world where made in the USA and made with urgency matters. A realistic world where if you want American strength, you need to have American manufacturing. You see, right after Pearl Harbor, our nation's enemies asserted that America was a nation of weaklings. President Franklin Roosevelt answered, "Let them tell that to the soldiers who today are fighting in the waters of the Pacific." And then he said, "Let them tell that to the Marines." We got a few out there? You see, for decades, politicians, professors, consultants, and lobbyists have asserted there was nothing wrong with depending on imports, on everything from our medicine to our national security. Outsourcing is good for America, said the scribblers at the Wall Street Journal. Let them tell that to the patriots here at Bath Iron Works. When we unleash our companies, we win. When we compete, we win. When we innovate, we win. When we go fast, we win. When we confront the status quo, as this company has been doing, we win. And that is our job at the War Department, to unleash you just as we are unleashing our warriors. And President Trump has done that with some key guiding principles. The first is that we put America and Americans first. Her security, her citizens, her workers first. Long overdue. Second, we're establishing peace through strength. At the War Department, we're the Strength Department. Our job is to be that hammer when necessary, and I'm hopeful we don't have to use it. That's the idea of deterrence. You get peace through deterrence, but if you must fight, you will be unleashed to fight to win. Overwhelmingly. Not fight politically correct, overwhelming violence of action at the decisive moment so the enemy knows exactly what you mean. And of course, with all of it, President Trump expects common sense, which is not so common in Washington. It's less red tape, more incentives, speed on the factory floor. Common sense is the priorities at the War Department as well. First and foremost, in our department, we're reviving the warrior ethos. We're eliminating distractions and debris. No more DEI, no more dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship, social justice, or political correctness. We're done with all that garbage. We're done with our diversity is our strength, which is the single dumbest phrase in military history. Our diversity is our strength. Our generals used to say it time and time again with a straight face. No. I see a lot of different faces out here from different backgrounds, and that's a beautiful thing. But the reality is your unity is your strength. Your shared purpose is your strength. What you're able to do together with a common purpose and a common mission is what makes America special and different. So we're unleashing our warfighters to get back to basics. They'll be ready, they'll be trained, they'll be disciplined, accountable, and lethal. That's the whole point. And when you allow them to do that, they're outstanding at their job, as the world saw as an indicted criminal in Venezuela found out last month. You see, it's actually really simple. We're just allowing commanders to be commanders again. And that's why they say to us, hey, we've never felt this supported before, ever, in our time under command. Under President Trump and the War Department, you're allowing us, the authorities, to go out and do what we must do. You're clearing out the debris. That's our job, to serve the warfighters and ultimately serve you who have their backs. Getting out of their way so that they can accomplish the mission. In addition to reviving the warrior ethos, we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're here on the Arsenal of Freedom Tour, reviving our defense industrial base. If we can't make the things we need at speed and get them into the hands of the Navy and the Coast Guard and the Air Force and the Army and the Space Force, Marine Corps, then there's those Marines again. That's why we're here in Maine. We're going across the country in the next couple of months on this tour, talking to industry, large and small, old and new, because we need all of you to move fast, at scale, at cost, so that we can compete and, frankly, outcompete our adversaries. We are rebuilding the arsenal of freedom, just as President Trump did in his first term, and we're doing it again. President Trump, you may have heard, has announced the goal of $1.5 trillion for our national security budget in 2027. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this yet, but yeah, we're maxing out on DDGs, okay? It's a workhorse, and it's a damn good workhorse. That kind of money sends a message to the world. Of course, we'll be wise with how we spend it. Make sure we're squeezing everything possible out of the best capabilities in the world. Ships front and center to that, but we're also addressing quality of life for troops. Getting after barracks improvements, new barracks, quality of life, and ensuring that they get paid what they should for the job that they do. We shouldn't have troops on food stamps. President Trump has addressed that before. We already addressed it in last year's budget, and we're going to do it again. Because when I talk to President Trump, that I'm going to talk to a group like this, of folks in uniform or in hard hats, I say, what do you want me to say? And he always says, you know, Pete, just tell him I love him. Because he does. He wants the best for our troops, and he wants the best for you. And that's why, in addition to rebuilding the military, we're reestablishing deterrence. You see, under the previous administration, whether it was the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan that reverberated around the globe, October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel, the war unleashed on Ukraine, which never would have started if President Trump had been president, or the radicals who fired on our ships in the Red Sea, our border invaded by millions, tens of millions of illegals. The world saw a country open for challenge. It didn't look like America was prepared to lead. Biden was asleep, and Lloyd Austin went AWOL. So the first thing we had to do at the War Department was reestablish deterrence. It's an active thing. It's a verb. You have to continue to do it. You can't rely on legacy. And it started on day one. Securing and locking down our border. We've gone 9 months with 0 crossings at our southern border. Turns out you didn't need new laws, you just needed a new president. Credit to our partners on the border, Customs and Border Protection, law enforcement, ICE, and others who do very difficult jobs every day. The War Department is proud to stand alongside them. Securing our border is national security. We also did it through our effort with the Houthis, Operation Rough Rider. From the beginning, some people thought, what are we doing there? Why the Houthis? Well, it was because the Biden administration allowed Islamists to shoot at our commercial and military ships without consequence. I mean, somewhere Thomas Jefferson is rolling over in his grave. We've understood that free navigation of the seas is a core tenet of the United States of America and the United States Navy. Joe Biden allowed those attacks to happen as if they didn't matter. Well, we responded with 50 days of unrelenting air power, and the Houthis cried uncle. They said, we're not shooting at your ships anymore. And now American ships sail free in the region and around the world. Not to mention, last night we just announced we did a maritime interdiction on a dark fleet oil tanker in the middle of the Indian Ocean in the Indo-Pacific region. And that ship had fled all the way from the Caribbean, because when we put in the oil quarantine around of illicit trafficking around Venezuela, a couple of ships decided to take off. And we saw them take off. And the only guidance I gave to my military commanders is none of those are getting away. None of them. I don't care if we got to go around the globe to get them, we're going to get them. And of course, I said that because I know if President Trump said I let one get away, he might say, you're fired. And they did. Some great Americans made one of the longest maritime interdictions in our country's history last night, seizing that oil tanker, making sure it's sold properly. The quarantine remains in effect. No one else can dominate the seas like the United States of America. When we say blockade, we mean blockade. Look at Iran, what President Trump said about their nuclear capabilities. Iran will never have a nuclear bomb. Well, Iranian leaders either didn't want to pay attention or didn't believe him. And then 7 beautiful B-2s flew 37 hours undetected and dropped 14 30,000-pound munitions exactly where they were supposed to land, undetected, flawless. No other country in the world can do that, and the president has been clear to Iran. He wants a negotiated settlement. I think it would be a wise choice for them to take him up on that deal. The world saw America's capabilities, peace through strength, deterrence in action. We were out of Iran before Iran even knew we were there. No other country can do that. You're seeing something similar with narco-terrorists in our own hemisphere. How long have we been talking about going after drugs that have poisoned Americans and wrecked our communities? For the longest time, too long. It was a catch and release program, a law enforcement function that didn't work. We'd catch the same traffickers and let them go. They'd go right back to it, no deterrence at all. But these narco-terrorists and designated terrorist organizations, they were targeting our communities. This community, my community, your community, our kids and our people in our country. They knew exactly what they were doing, poisoning our country with fentanyl, cocaine, and any number of other drugs. So instead of a catch and release program, President Trump demanded, if you're going to sail drugs in international waters, we will target your drug boats and we will sink them. We sunk another one a couple days ago, but it had been a while. We haven't been sinking as many boats recently because we can't find many boats to sink. That's the whole point. They're not running drugs as much as they were before in international water because of that threat. And then, as I mentioned, on January 3rd, the whole world saw what our military is capable at every echelon, from space to subsea. When we brought the indicted nominal leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, from the most fortified base, in the most fortified home, inside the most fortified location, inside the biggest fort in their capital, in the middle of the night, without them knowing we were there until 3 minutes before, when 44 simultaneous missiles landed right before our troops got down on those birds. It was the most sophisticated single raid in world history. No other country, what'd you say? Going down in history. By the way, and no other president would have had the guts to make the call to follow through on that. We love you. You see, Maduro said, I'm right here. Come get me. Well, he found out. We came and got him. So it brings me back to why I'm here looking you all in the eye. Reestablishing deterrence is a real thing. You are the men and women who pour their lives, your careers, your skills into building these ships that allow us to project that power, that exceed the standards of any shipbuilder anywhere in the world. Ships that, as you say, are built in blood, ready to go to battle, and then bring our sailors home. You will be, as you do your work, the ones who give us that decisive advantage. At the War Department, we're fighting every day to create an environment where you can do your job as quickly and efficiently as possible. If you can imagine how difficult it is sometimes to move at speed and efficiently at the Pentagon. It's a giant headquarters. We have meetings to talk about meetings to talk about meetings. It's a headquarters on steroids. But we're doing everything we can to reduce that red tape, cut right through it, and ensure that we overturn the way we do business so that you can do business. That means not waiting years and spending tens of billions of dollars for some perfect solution 15 years in the future and a product that never gets into the hands of the warfighter. I tell people, do everything you can with this precious moment that we have. Rip out the bureaucracy, streamline the process so we can get the products into the hands of warriors. Urgency is my currency. Speed, efficiency, competition. And we're not just talking about it, we're funding it. The One Big Beautiful Bill invested $16 billion into strengthening our defense industrial base and shipbuilding, expediting innovation to the warfighter. I don't know what you know, but I know consistent demand signals are very important in this business. So we're sending clear and sustained demand signals that we want the best of American innovation, and we need it now, ensuring that companies such as General Dynamics and shipyards like yours must compete, will compete. And that means some tough truths, which we're sharing around the country. And the president signed an executive order on January 7th ordering the big defense contractors to be held to the highest standards. No more excuses, no more barriers to entry, no more monopolies, no more egregious executive bonuses, no more stock buybacks, no more ridiculous CEO salaries. Especially for companies that can't make things on time. You should see the fire in the president's eyes when he looks at the size of CEO salaries for companies that are years behind and billions over budget on projects they owe the warfighter. Hell hath no fury like Donald Trump hearing about that. Because it's not about the money. That's exactly right. Not for me, at least. You see, it's about the warfighters and their capabilities from the War Department's perspective. Of course, money's awash everywhere. We got to spend money to make money to ensure we have those capabilities. And we need to pay our people and our workers more in the conduct of their work. So that's where it is about the money. And it's always better when it's made in America. We don't care whose name is on the side. It'd be great if it's Bath Iron Works. It'd be great if it's General Dynamics. But I actually don't care. We just want the best. We want the best fielded as quickly as possible. I don't care how many lobbyists or accountants any company has. If you build the best, the fastest, at cost on behalf of taxpayers, you will win. That is how President Trump's War Department will work. Your leadership knows this is not about Wall Street, dividends, and stock buybacks. It's about the warriors and what we can deliver as fast as possible. It's about the people and the investment and the workforce. And I look out at you and I know we have that. The best engineers, the best shipbuilders. I sat with one of your best welders, best entrepreneurs, best innovators. I'm here to express my appreciation to you. You know, when I look out at this group, standing in front of you could be a line of soldiers or sailors, ultimately up front. I see a few of them right here. And they get a lot of praise for what they do. I swore in a bunch of young Americans in Rhode Island this morning who raised their right hand to defend God and country and the Constitution. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. I call them the real 1%. But they can't do their work without all of you standing behind them, shoulder to shoulder, working your ass off every single day in tough, dirty, dangerous situations, ensuring that you get to them what they need when they need it. They literally can't win the next fight without you. And we were thinking about this three, 4 months ago when we thought I got to get out there and tell them. We got to get out there and look them in the eye and tell them that we can't do it without you. It's a fact. I can put as many people in uniform as I want, but if they don't have that equipment and the capabilities to project power, we can ensure the 21st century is an American century. And if the 21st century is not an American century, it won't be a free century. It is about you, your kids, your grandkids, and their future. And when you go home, I know you look your kids, your wife, your spouses, your husband in the eye and say, hey, I know what I'm doing for a living is contributing to the protection, safety, and security of my nation. That's good work right there. So to your leadership, like I say to all leadership, invest in your plants and invest in your people. Go fast, take risks, and always build in America. This moment requires urgency. We need these things yesterday. And we're shoulder to shoulder with you because we can't deter the next conflict without you. You know, last Thanksgiving, so a couple of months ago, my wife and I visited the guided missile destroyer USS Winston Churchill in the U.S. Southern Command. And I told the soldiers there, because the bay was open, said it was one of the most beautiful views of America I'd ever seen. But I also had the most beautiful view of America because I was on board a destroyer that was built right here at Bath Iron Works. Built in America, built by Americans, built by you. You see, when President Trump spoke over the radio to the Americans who went downtown to Caracas, he simply said, good luck and Godspeed. I know that you all make your own luck because you're the best at what you do. As was said, Bath built, as they say, is best built. But Godspeed, because we need the skills that you have here, and we need them urgently. Our job is to ensure that you have everything you need in that process. We serve you, you serve the troops. The recipe is simple. Keep going, and God bless. Thank you.
All right, just listening in there to Pete Hegseth, the Department of Defense Secretary, talking at this Bath Iron Works along the shores of the Quebec River there in Maine, building ships for the U.S. Navy. You can see saluting some of the workers there on hand for that. And he said urgency is his currency. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about the urgent need potentially for that funding for the Department of Homeland Security, how it looks with the looming shutdown ahead. Let's slide away for a quick 2-minute break.